Hello, my name is Natalia Karina, and I'm with CBIZ Gibraltar. And today we are joined by our Senior Vice President, Benjamin Cooper, who will discuss some of the near-term impacts of COVID-19 and what employees can expect to see in their offices as the country begins to draw plans to slowly reopen. Ben, thank you so much for being with us today. Glad to have you on.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Natalia.
So Ben, what do you expect to see in the next 30 to 60 days as employees begin to get back to work and into their offices?
The big question these days, and honestly, it's going to vary building to building. But for the most part, I really don't think we're going to see many changes. The items that we hear in the news, the touchless elevators and the automatic doors, they have very long lead times to them, and they're very expensive. So I don't think every building is going to adopt to that, especially in the near term. But what I do think we're going to see is different forms of social distancing. I think that we're going to, in addition to phasing in the employees, I think that we're going to have phased in arrival times. So there's not so many people waiting for an elevator. Somebody will be directing people to stand in the four corners, and there might be only 4 or 5 people in an elevator to try and maintain that 6 feet distance. I also think that employees and occupants of the buildings are going to stagger when they go to lunch. They don't want to go, at noon when every other person is going and stand in line for a salad. Transportation and parking is going to be an issue. I think that the phasing in will help that, but there's going to be a lot of people driving into the offices instead of taking public transportation. And as far as when you get into the actual personal office, I think that we're still going to see a lot of masks in the elevator, but a lot of gloves. People will be wearing gloves because those automatic doors really aren't going to be an option for everybody. And I think we'll see a lot of hand sanitizers available at every door, every entrance, every exit. But we've also been asked a lot about who's responsible for cleaning the offices. And that really, historically, the landlords have been responsible for the common areas, the common corridors on the floors, the building lobbies, the bathrooms. But when you're within the premises itself, in the specific offices, the landlord really just, for the most part, handles sweeping and trash removal. And obviously, we're going to need a more in-depth cleaning on a daily basis. So I think it's going to fall on the employee shoulder to really clean their own space and make sure they're comfortable before they start the day and end the day. And I think it's going to, transpond into conference rooms as well. I just don't see people entering in offices and feeling comfortable working without being confident that it's clean and sanitized. And I'm not sure how we can do that without everybody doing it themselves.
I agree. A lot of what we've been hearing from experts is about updating offices. So what is your opinion on that? And do you think that these changes can actually be made in the near term?
So in 30 to 60 days, I think it's going to be challenging. First of all, new furniture, very expensive, and there are significant delays these days due to the COVID situation. But the tenants that have a lease that has been expiring or is expiring in the near term, I think they have a better chance or a more likelihood to really make their office a little bit more COVID-19 acceptable, 6 feet away, cubicles and so forth. And that's really because the landlord is going to help contribute dollars to build out the space to each tenant's preference. The tenants that have long lease terms remaining, I'm not positive, especially in this day and age where cash is so important, that they're going to want to come out of pocket significant dollars to replace the existing furniture. I think that we're really going to continue to phase in and sit every other cubicle until there's a vaccine readily available. I think there's a lot of people that believe that once there is a vaccine, that it's not going to be as important to be 6 feet apart, and they really just can't spend the money these days. So for the time being, again, I think we're just going to be phasing in and practicing social distancing.
Thank you so much, Ben. I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you all for tuning in. And as always, we will continue to update you on all commercial real estate industry news as they develop. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Natalia.
Bye, Ben.